name is Allison. I'm the Programs Outreach and Youth Services Manager here at Monterey County Free Libraries. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of Backyard Science. Today we are going to be talking about the beautiful tree behind me, the Coast Live Oak. So I have a couple of these in my backyard as well as in my front yard, and I was inspired to create this video because last week when my boyfriend and I were gardening, we actually found this little live oak sprout in one of our plants. It's since died because I pulled it out, but what was really cool about this was that the acorn that it sprouted out of was still attached. So it's kind of dried up and not so clear anymore as to what it is. But when I first pulled it out, there was a big acorn right here, and the sprout was coming out this way with the green leaves and then the root at the bottom. So we pulled it out because I thought actually that it was just some leaves in one of our pots, but we also don't want another full tree. So we were pulling some of these out. I'm sad that I didn't take a picture of it so that I could show you what it looked like with the acorn attached, but it did inspire this video. And you can still see the structure of the plant where the acorn would have been, still kind of is, and then where the tree was starting to grow. It's amazing to think that something as small as this can grow into something as big as this. It's not too obvious right now because I'm sitting down, but this tree is probably like 10 feet behind me, and look how big it is. I'll show you some of our other trees a little bit later on. But first, let me tell you some really cool facts about the Coast Live Oak. As the name implies, the Coast Live Oak is found on the coast in California. It really enjoys a moist climate, and it does really well in areas near the ocean. So it doesn't need it for it to be raining constantly, but it gets some of its moisture from the fog that's in that area. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I live in Pacific Grove. It's a pretty sunny day today, but usually it is really foggy, and that's good for the Coast Live Oaks. Coast Live Oaks are an evergreen tree, which means that they have green leaves all year round and don't drop their leaves. These leaves are obviously not green, but that's because this is a dead plant. A mature Coast Live Oak can get to be 32 to 70 feet tall. So that is very tall. I am almost 6 feet tall. So that would be like stacking 5 of me on my head just to get the bottom of that range of the 30 feet. Their canopies, which are the leaves at the top of the tree, can grow very, very wide, which will make the tree look even bigger than it actually is. As I mentioned in showing you this little guy, they produce acorns, which are the seeds to grow new trees. So I'm pretty sure that this guy got planted in one of our planters by a squirrel or some other little creature in our yard, taking one of the acorns and burying it in the ground somewhere else in our yard. They weren't trying to plant a new tree. The acorns from the Coast Live Oaks were a very important food source for the native populations of this area, like the Ohlone people whose lands my house is on and all of Pacific Grove is on. The Ohlone and other native populations would take the acorns and grind them up and create a paste like mush that was one of their most important food sources. So let's go take a look at some of the trees that are in my backyard, and we can show you a close-up of what this Coast Live Oak looks like. I have 2 in my backyard. This is the smaller of the 2. And you can see my neighbor's garage for some perspective in terms of how tall it is. So there's the base and there's the garage. And as you can see, it's kind of even with the base of the roof of that garage. So that is the baby one in my yard, and it is quite tall. This is the bigger one in my backyard. I don't have anything to give you a perspective in terms of how tall it is, but you can see the base is here and it goes all the way up. And you can see what I was referring to with the canopy starting to stretch out pretty wide. You can see the trunk of the tree is there, and then the canopy is stretching out much wider than the base. Here's a close-up of some of the leaves. So that is the Coast Live Oak. I wonder if you've seen some of these in your yard or around your neighborhood. Just like every week, I am going to end with a question that I will research for next time. This week's question is, I mentioned that the canopies can grow to be quite wide, and I want to know what that range would be. How wide can these canopies grow? Last time in our video about the California slender salamander, my research question was, why are some of the salamanders that I've seen in my backyard more of a pink, clear color versus the brown that I researched that they would look like? What I found out is that some California slender salamanders are actually albino, which means that their bodies don't create the chemicals that give their skin a particular pigment, so they appear clear or pinkish. But most of the California slender salamanders that you'll find will be a brownish color so that they blend in with the dirt in their surroundings. Thank you for joining me today for Backyard Science. I hope you learned something about our friends, the Coast Live Oaks, and I hope that you are inspired to go check out some books about oak trees or any other trees or any other subject that you're interested in. You can visit our online catalog at www.emcfl.org. I'll see you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.